Today I wanted to plop you down in your seat and make you watch some of the scariest analog horror videos that I have ever came across. I'm going to be going over 3 of them today, and we'll start with Pirate Cove Pre-Show by Baddington, which is of course a remake of Squimpus McGrimpus's version, but I think this one is even better. So we start off by being introduced to the characters of this episode, which is Foxy on his boat at night with that really creepy ass moon behind him. And then we have Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica all on their own little set, and they're all talking, getting ready for the show.
When I tell ya, we got a grand show for you today, in just about 10 minutes! Wait, 10 minutes? That's right, 10 minutes! Can you bloody believe it?
10 minutes? Why, we better gather our gear before time runs out.
Oh, and I've got to prep my singing voice. La 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 la!
Bonnie, make yourself useful and mop the stage, will you?
Whatever you say, Mr. Bossman.
Just try not to slip, Cottontail.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
And they're going through their common little pre-show routine until we get some intercut footage that's quite eerie.
Keep your team.
Oh, and that's the scariest of all, a YouTube ad that interrupts the video you're trying to watch. And then we see a group of 5 children sitting in front of the set that Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy are in front of with the pre-show routine. And that segment itself is uncanny enough, even with all 5 children there foreshadowing. So nothing too crazy yet, and then the video loops again. They go through the same routine, say pretty much the same exact things back and forth, but it gets a little bit more unsettling this time. We see Foxy hauling ass. And this is where we start to notice that something is up, because now there are only 4 children remaining, and it starts the cycle over again. And then we see who actually made that kid disappear. It was Bonnie. Bonnie has the blood of this child all over his face.
Just try not to slip, Cottontail.
And then we get yet another very unsettling segment. And that shot of Foxy disappearing for a second before we cut to see another child is missing, in my opinion, is one of the more frightening segments of this entire thing, even though the whole thing is just downright terrifying. But now we're down to only 3 kids remaining, which starts the pre-show routine over again, and it's now more distorted, more hard to hear, and it's falling apart. The footage is getting disrupted, and the animatronics are now malfunctioning. But Freddy and Bonnie have now both eaten and killed these children and have their blood smeared all over their face, with a black bar blurring what I can assume is more gore beneath that. And Chica still fucking sucks at singing. And Foxy tells them to stop mucking around while they have these children mangled remains all across their bodies.
Hey! Will you landlubbers stop mucking around?
And now you're definitely seeing the pattern here. You're seeing where this whole episode is going. It's going towards all of these children being killed. And we see that there is now only 1 child left, and rightfully so. She looks absolutely terrified because she surely knows her fate to come. She's going to be Chica's meal, because all the other ones have ate. And now on this last time around through the pre-show routine, the video is much more distorted. It looks more like a deep-fried meme. The audio is damn near incomprehensible. It's got the whirring sound like a VHS that is very heavily artifacted and messing up, which adds to the whole episode of everything kind of falling apart, the animatronics malfunctioning, eating the kids, killing them or whatever. Yes, God, they're so realistic. Like they're so realistic that it's just so terrifying. And then we get the warning that viewing of this tape is prohibited and that we need to discard it immediately. Which we've already viewed it pretty much all the way through, so there's no point to discard it now. And then we cut back to the children in the chair scene, where there are now no children left. And I'm not up to date on the whole FNAF lore, so I don't really know what the name of this animatronic is. I know I probably sound stupid, but he's there now.
What's the matter, Foxy? I thought you wanted an audience.
Yeah, I didn't want to warn you about that. That was the best part of the video. The jump scare of the children, the dead children coming back to the chairs. That part got me the first time I watched it. And then now we get this scene, which is Foxy in the back room area of the pizzeria, walking to a door which hides Golden Freddy. Now, like I said, I don't know the FNAF lore, so I don't know the impact of this, but very eerie shot. Absolutely tweaking out back there. Like he just did a lot of cocaine. And the FNAF animatronics have always been kind of terrifying to me. Just their soulless eyes and the realism of them. It's very similar to Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese any animatronic really scares me. And the fact that you give them this life and this evilness to them, it takes it to another level. But yeah, that's one of my all-time favorite analog horror videos that I've ever seen. Baddington makes some amazing like FNAF analog horror videos. But now we're going to go on to something created by Red Diamond called The Circles, part of their VHS Tales series. So for this, we're transported to Itsofik, definitely not pronouncing that right, Alaska on December 5th of 1986. And we are introduced to our narrator of this video, Ethan Astor, welcoming us to the town he lives in, saying that what we're about to see is his town's haunting. But they're not haunted by ghosts or monsters, simply by shapes, more specifically, circles. They come every once in a while, and when they do, we evacuate the town. The people who decide to stay are never seen again. It will come in 5 days. And then he tells us that he is going to stay there this time. And then we see a note left by Martha telling Ethan that he has gone too far, that she no longer feels comfortable around him, and that he hasn't spoken to her or left the basement for days now. And by the time he reads this, she will be far away. Please seek help. So Ethan has clearly began to be obsessed with these circles to the point where he wants to stay, even though he knows everyone that stays disappears, and he has consumed himself with these circles, with these shapes, just locked himself in the basement and seemingly burnt bridges with everyone that cares about him. And this shot right here is really, really cool. I think the TV, the TV station is very... I think it's supposed to be a callback to Local 58, which is very nice, but these shots of the house are extremely unsettling. Especially the shot of the door, which I'm assuming is what leads down into the basement, as we'll see the basement door with a circle on it. That is where Ethan has locked himself away. And the circle on the door already is pretty ominous, as well as the circles on the wall. Pretty ominous of what's to come, as we can see what I presume is the shadow of Ethan standing there in front of the circles. And that takes us to night at this house, where it looks oddly cozy. You know, you got your winter storm going on with the lights all on in the house. But then an alert pops up telling us to seek shelter. The countdown leads us into these circles arriving, and as we see, the circles just kind of consume everything. They first appear in the sky, and then they just slowly overcome the entire town. The shot over the town though is so cool. It's like the clouds are forming in a circle. And then we hear knocking at the door. Repeated knocking. which knocking at the door in general is scary. And the fact that circles can knock on the door, now when the shapes come knocking, that's how you know some crazy shit's going on. And the wet, sloppy, slushy sounds as we see the circles, I don't know what this is just so creepy. As we hear more pounding, more beating on the door, and what appears to be the sound of it breaking in. And it's already taken over the TV station. Now it's taking over the entire house. And the sound it makes while consuming and taking over is weird, terribly unnerving. Just listening to it again for this is, I don't like it at all. And now it's making its way down to the basement where Ethan is. And then we get this whole crazy final shot, which is kind of poetic, honestly. We see what I am assuming is Ethan, and then him telling us a story, a cycle of destruction and rebirth. A curved line of events with no beginning, circling light and shadow through space and time. And we're seeing what it's doing to him with those interconnected shots, a line which has never been born, yet it still exists. And now we see what the circle does to those who stay and they don't evacuate. It turns them into a circle. This circle monster with just one eyeball left and all veiny, like their cardiovascular system has been ripped out. But he tells us he's happy now. He's a circle. Everybody loves being a circle. And then we have Ethan once again saying the people who decide to stay are never seen again. Some say they join the circles. And now, I'm one of them. And that's the end of it. The series, or this episode in particular, feels very inspired by Uzumaki, which is definitely not a bad thing. Uzumaki is one of the best things I've ever read, with the whole town being obsessed with spirals and the spirals taking over, seeing spirals and everything. And that infamous shot of the lady with the spiral into her head. And this is just as impactful. You know, circles taking over the town, turning him into a circle. And we get more lore in the description of this video, saying that Ethan Astor is a famous photographer from Alaska. On December 5th, 1986, his wife, Martha Astor, reported that her husband was showing a strange obsession with circles. He would constantly draw the shapes on the wall of their basement. He also would refuse to eat, sleep, or talk to Martha. But Ethan wasn't the only one dealing with such obsession. Many citizens from the town started to show the same obsession with circles around the same time. The government issued an emergency evacuation a day before this strange incident. All of the citizens evacuated except for the obsessed ones. Martha returned days later, only to find out that her husband, along with the dozens of other people who decided to stay, were gone. And I don't know, I just really like that one, because the fact is, if someone can make a shape into a scary, unnerving, unsettling, uncanny story, they leave you with some amazing questions. It leaves you disturbed, unsettled, which is all things that a great analog horror video should do. They deserve all the praises, and the fact that this video only has 42,000 views and it was posted 3 years ago is damn near criminal. And now the last video I wanted to show you here was the Godzilla Suit Incident 1954, which is a Godzilla analog horror series, and this is the first entry into that series. So we're transported to the stage of where they're shooting like the original Hollywood Godzilla movies in black and white and whatnot, where they still had an actor in the suit portraying Godzilla. It's an unknown person, but the guy who takes on the persona of Godzilla just starts to get too obsessed with it. The obsession becomes to a level that is kind of alarming. Like, he gets way too into character, likes playing Godzilla way too much. And after he fell in love with it, they show us a series of quotes about him acting weird in the suit, saying he would wear the suit most of the time to the point that you never saw his actual face. Even when we take breaks, he would just wear the suit. The suit would sometimes heat up, but he didn't care. It was like if he was addicted to the suit, like if it's calling his name. It has gotten to the point where he brings the suit home even though we tell him not to. He wouldn't really speak a lot, but he would say that his name is Goji, basically the nickname we gave to the suit. And from those eyewitness testimonies, you can tell that this dude, it's beyond obsession. Like, he's taken on the full persona of being Godzilla or Gojira, to the point where he doesn't want to take it off. And not even just that he doesn't want to take it off, just that he sees it as an extension of himself. He sees himself as Gojira now. But all the people on the set just kind of thought he was an oddball weirdo who just really liked the suit. Maybe it gave him a sense of power, a sense of purpose. But as we find out, things continued to get a lot weirder. And it says the last time he was seen on set, he was acting in the suit, and then he just stopped, which is where the photo they show is from, where he just paused, and then he started breathing heavily, acting really weird, and he would start to walk and stop again, and his breathing was just muffled and odd and off-putting. And the director just thought he was joking, but he wouldn't move when he was trying to budge him. Like, he froze in place. And then after a couple minutes of him breathing weirdly, they sent people to check on him and make sure he actually takes the suit off to make sure he's breathing properly in case it was messing up with his breathing for him wearing it for so long. Once they opened the suit, they saw that he was growing into the suit. His flesh would slowly rip away as he tried to open the pocket where the actor would enter the suit. So they found out that it's not just, he wasn't just acting as Godzilla. He was literally becoming Godzilla, fleshing or molding his flesh, becoming one with the Godzilla suit. He technically is Godzilla now. The suit was now his skin, and his body deformed to the point where it filled out the suit, which isn't exactly human shaped, and they give us a diagram of what he actually looked like compared to what they expected or what he was supposed to look like inside the suit. They found him like this, filling out to the suit to the point where his body distorted and contorted to fit the suit. And if you go into the description of the video and translate it, it says Godzilla may be a monster, but I don't see him that way. He's more like a god. He controls our world in its own way, and I will become the beast's flesh. I will become Godzilla's host because I want to be a god respected by humans. I want to become the beast's flesh and the fear of who is wrong. I'm not a movie monster. I am Godzilla. The law of good and evil. I will live among this beast because he is the only one who can help us. There is no god, only me. Godzilla. So that is what you call absolutely horrific. This man put on the suit, and I guess Godzilla communicated to him through the suit, and he accepted to be the vessel, or Godzilla forcefully made him become the vessel to the point where his body molded to the suit, and he is now being puppeted and controlled, or at least directed and commanded by Godzilla, channeling and becoming a vessel of Godzilla. So who knew someone could take Godzilla and turn it into an analog horror series, and a damn good one at that. So that's all I got for this one. The 3 videos I wanted to show you. Some of my 3 favorite analog horror videos that I've watched recently. I'll probably make another one like this, or you can even give me suggestions if you want of your favorite ones. But other than that, I'll catch you in the next one.